Hello, thank you for joining us back at the Single Malt Review as we continue our metaphorical journey through Lynchburg, Tennessee, sampling the core range from Jack Daniel's.
Yes, it's more of a lap of the distillery than a journey anywhere particular, but we're certainly going to see the ins and outs of what they do over there at the Jack Daniel's joint.
As you see from the video title, today it is the Gentleman Jack. Similar to the old number 7, it's a 40% ABV, no particular age statement, but one core difference. As we discussed last time, there is a distinct charcoal filtration process which goes into Tennessee whiskey, and the Gentleman Jack has it twice.
Yes, in an odd move, they have decided to, for this particular bottling, not just run the distilled spirit through before aging, which sort of makes sense, but then again after aging. And that's an interesting choice because, at least in terms of, again, from a Scotch whisky drinking perspective, if you went and charcoal filtered an aged spirit, you'd be seeing all your flavour disappear, because your impurities after aging are good impurities. They're what you want, they're what you taste, they're what differentiates your lovely aged brown spirit from vodka, really, the neutral clear spirit that went into the cask. So running it through the Lincoln County process, once matured, I will be very, very interested to see what the result of that is, because I would have said on face value that would be a terrible idea.
It depends what that filtration actually strips out and what it leaves behind, because that's still a tremendous colour. That is a rich, dark gold, very nearly slightly brown hue, so it's definitely not taking that out of it.
So we'll have to see how this really differs from the initial one. In terms of the nose...
Oh, that is clear and very mild. Even a lot of that smokiness has gone. The wonderful rich wood smoke, the char on the number 7.
Yeah, that's, funnily enough, even more neutral than the very, very mild nose we got from the regular Jack Daniel's.
It's giving me a bit of a corn whiskey whiff to that, but not much else that I'm detecting just now. Interesting. So it's definitely that extra filtering has sort of purified it down a bit. It's taken a lot of isolated certain key characteristics.
It's so pure that it's a difficult nose to really get into any real depth over. You can certainly smell the process itself. There is there's a charcoal edge to this one, a fairly clean charcoal edge, but it's there, and the rest is just a lot of sort of wood characteristics. There's mostly vanilla, char, caramel, and
caramel's coming through, caramel popcorn.
Yeah, a few grain notes, but all very indistinct, which is what I expected for something that's been purified after maturation. So let's see if the secret's on the palate. I don't know.
First impressions, that is thin and a little bit watery. I'd like to dive in for a second go, maybe leave it on the tongue a little longer, give it time to really express itself.
I mean, it's alcoholic, it's got a burn to it, that's for sure, but it just seems a little insubstantial.
Yeah, it's much more mild than the standard, old number 7. But, there's various flavours there, though. They're subtle. It's a very gentle, subtle, low-key kind of a whiskey. There's a lot of corn. There is some... a little bit of grain spirit. It's not a raw, rough, immature spirit flavour.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have the depth and heft you normally expect from something to be mature.
If I was to make a, albeit fairly modest bet with this one, I'd say that we're dealing with slightly older whiskey. There's a little bit more maturity in here that...
Yeah, it's good, easy drinking. It's got the quaffability of a more mature American whiskey.
But it all tempered by the second mellowing or purification. The stripping of what would otherwise be considered mature characters from the whiskey. It's very difficult to tell apart from the first one. And the ways in which it are different are ways in which it is really not pulling its weight.
It's softer and more mild. It lacks that wonderfully sooty, smoky finish, which made the number 7 stand out for me.
So I'm left with the question as to really
Why?
why this is here, who this is for.
It is a pricier offering. It is kind of the next tier up.
I think it's
in the Jack
significantly
Daniel's.
pricier,
Yeah,
actually.
it comes in the, as you can see, a miniature here, like the sort of characteristic flask-shaped bottle, which is true on the full size.
It's very
offering,
curious.
which denotes the sort of the next tier of American whiskey on the mainstream stuff.
The venerable Dave Broom, who's more of a whiskey writer and commenter than a whiskey reviewer necessarily, did conspicuously note that if he's going to have a Tennessee whiskey and cola, I thought that would be a bit beneath his pay grade, but I suppose takes all comers. He would use the Gentleman Jack over the standard Jack Daniels, and I think I can see why, because this is sort of, it's crisper, it's cleaner, and it would sort of muddy up your Coca-Cola that you're clearly savouring that much less than the standard Jack. So
That's
I suppose if you were
such a mild flavour, I want to put it into, say, like a really boutique cola from some exclusive hipstery independent soda company to actually taste it.
I'd want to see the cola.
Yeah, because this would
me,
disappear basically in a stronger, a very strong taste, and even something very sugary like Coke. This flavour just won't be strong enough to carry through in a mixer like that. It
is weird. I think we might need a bit of help from the audience here, because I think I said who this is for. I think it's not for us as Scotch drinkers, because it's kind of the antithesis of how Scotch is made and what Scotch aims to do. So I think we're maybe not target audience here, and we might not be getting something. So do give us your opinion in the comments if you have one. We're open to all comers. I never delete the comments unless they're completely outrageous. Haven't had to yet. Odd, and I would love to know what niche people think this really fills in the range.
It is wonderfully easy drinking. This is so gentle. You can sip it without the slightest burn or the.
Oh yeah, I could drink this. I could go properly wonkers on this, and give me 20 minutes.
I've added the tiniest smidge of water just to see what happens. It's got some fairly intense physiometric swirls to begin with, for what that's worth. Oh, and that's developed a little more of the grain character. That has brought through some... Yeah, that's actually really awoken a lot of the grain flavours. I'd say it's worth a try if there's any left in your glass.
Maybe it's waiting for ice.
It's sort of like the filtration has stripped away some of the barrel influence, a lot of that vanilla and that smoke, and it's just leaving behind some more of the original grain spirit flavours. You can taste more of the original mash bill. So that's perhaps where this whiskey stands out, in the things it takes away. It means what you're left with is more of the original sort of core constituents of that mash, and that's what you're tasting.
Interesting. Scores-wise, funnily enough, in a show of great non-drama, this just hasn't moved. It was an 82 to start with, and it's an 82 now. I can only assume it's either doesn't come alive until you mix it or put ice in it, or it's just for someone else, or I'm just not getting something. It could be a combination of many of those facets put together, and do let me know, as I said. But it's just not an intrinsically different, or certainly not a better whiskey for me. What do you think?
Again, a close score, but this one goes down to a 78 for me. It is a step back from the old number 7. Is what's been stripped away by that extra filtration.
And when you take into account the price rise, that's pretty wild. That something that's at least a third more expensive, I think, most days of the week, is going to go down in anyone's score. That's troubling.
There's definitely the impression that it's that extra filtration is meant to have added something that's improved the product in a way, but we're simply not getting.
Well, onwards and upwards, or so we will hope. Maybe there's just a bit of a speed wobble in the Jack Daniel's range, but stick around, we're right back, and we will see the stunning conclusion, well, minus the honey, but that might be a foregone conclusion, we'll see. Sandra, see you soon.